Umpire Mag feed, and I can't wait to go across the pond to listen to Across the Pod, fresh out of Wales. Special stuff. Cheers.
Hello everyone, Andy here, and here's what you can look forward to in today's episode. In today's episode, in Team Season Preview 24 out of 32, I was joined by New York Giants fan Tom Morton as we look ahead to the team's upcoming season. Tom discusses the team's ins and outs.
It's been a roller coaster for sure. I mean, lots of ins and outs, lots of big losses. Dexter Lawrence will be huge. Is huge.
I asked Tom whether he's concerned over the long-term health of both Skattebo and Dart. Do you worry about him doing things like this, doing backflips when you're out with injury already? Does that worry you about maybe their futures and whether they'll even be in the league in a few years? And much more as Tom predicts the team's end-of-season record in our win, loss or tie segment. Hope you all enjoy. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Across the Pod NFL podcast. I am as ever your host today, Andy Davis, and we are doing Team Season Preview 24 out of 32, and the team in focus today is the New York Giants. Now with me, I've got a returning guest. He is our resident Giants fan. He was on for last year's season preview and the year before and the year before and the year before that. Back on the show today is Giants fan Tom Morton. Tom, it is great to have you back on.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, the line's cut off completely.
My line's gone completely?
Yeah, like you were speaking, I could hear you speaking, but it was like you were in Apollo 13 or something.
Oh, nice. Unreal. Can you hear me better now?
I can hear you fine now. As soon as I said about the sound issues, it seems to have gone. I don't know what caused that.
Brilliant.
But now you are here. That is the most important thing. And yeah, like, how are you? How is life? How is good? You've been traveling the world a lot recently. How is life for old Tom Morton?
It's not bad, thanks, mate. Can't complain. Travel the world for work, so that's all pretty good. NFL season's upon us. The footy season's back, so can't be much better.
No, I mean you can't go wrong with that. Being able to travel the world and not have to use annual leave for it, it's kind of the dream. I remember I've been able to be fortunate enough to get friendly with some of the guys from Talk Sport and went out for drinks with them one night, and they were saying how, because basically all the stuff that I do, I do all the international games, all that traveling around for that. I'm using annual leave for this. I'm using my own money, but they're obviously like yourself. They're being able to do their work, travel whilst doing it, but it not be the annual leave. So you can almost then have extra leave. Yeah, it's stuff of dreams, and I am very jealous of anyone that gets to travel the world and it be their job. Maybe except flight attendants. I don't think I'd quite want to be that, because I don't think I could. I'd want to take the risk too much of being in an aeroplane every day. But no. Either way, yeah. Anyone who's traveling the world for a living, I think you'll honestly live in a dream. But no, we are here to talk all things New York Giants, and it was quite the off-season, so let's head into our ins and outs of the New York Giants off-season. So the main ins include the likes of Isaiah Likely, Tremaine Edmonds, friend of the show, Jason Sanders, Greg Newsome II, Patrick Ricard, Calvin Austin, Jason Pinnock, Elijah Campbell, Darnell Mooney, Cam Jones, Lucas Patrick, Daniel Falali, Brandon Allen, Shelby Harris, DJ Reader, Braxton Berrios, of course, Odell Beckham Jr., probably a fan favourite addition this summer, and Juju Smith-Schuster, as well as re-signing the likes of Gunnar Olszewski, Jermaine Illuminor, Isaiah Hodkins, Chris Manhurts, Art Green, Caleb Murphy, Zaire Barnes, Evan Neal, and Ryan Miller. Now, leaving the team were the likes of Wan'Dale Robinson, Daniel Bellinger, Dane Belton, and Dexter Lawrence. Of course, that trade that you did you gave the Bengals your 10th overall pick. Sorry, the Bengals gave you their 10th overall pick to go and get Dexter Lawrence. And that pick was used on Francis Magoa, the tackle out of Miami, 10th overall, as well as getting Arvel Reese, 5th overall. You took Colton Hood, cornerback, 2nd round. You took Malachi Fields, 3rd round, as well as in the 6th round, the likes of Bobby, Jamison Travis, JC Davis, and Jack Kelly. Tom, overall for you, your take on the team's off season?
It's been a roller coaster for sure. I mean, lots of ins and outs, lots of big losses. Dexter Lawrence will be huge, is huge in the middle. Again, I think the loss of Robinson will be bigger than we expect it to be because he did break out last season. He did well. But then again, lots of exciting players coming in. I mean, everyone's excited by the pick of Reese at number 5. He's looking pretty good in training camp, pretty nimble, pretty fast, big lad as well. And of course, OBJ. He's the one that we all hope shines in training camp, shines in pre-season and comes back. I think they've done a good job in building around Jaxson Dart, protecting him on the offensive line, getting him some weapons, and hopefully making it so that offense can start to pop, because it's not something we've seen for a while. And again, the defense is looking good. We're adding some nice pieces. Edmonds is a good player, pairing him with Reese as well in the linebacker positions. Really, really should be good. And then we still got Burns, still got Thibodeau for now. So we've got a pretty good front 7.
And OBJ being back, is it going to be weird seeing him wear the number 3 rather than 13 for the Giants?
No, I wouldn't have said so, because it's not the same. It's not the same OBJ. I mean, the OBJ that was before, that chapter's closed. He's never going to be that same player for us. That explosive, that 1,000-yard, sort of 10 touchdown kind of player. That's not what he's going to be. And it's nice to have to bookend that and have a different chapter. Someone who can maybe get you that 600 yards in the season, 2 or 3 touchdowns, help the team. He's transitions into that kind of player. So seeing him in a new number sort of reflects that new role, and I don't think it'd be weird to see him in that way. There's still a 3 in there somewhere, so we're okay.
Or in the case of maybe upsetting some Giants fans in this episode, do check out one of our previous off-season episodes where we did our top 10 most overrated players of all time, and you can find out exactly where we placed OBJ in this top 10. The one in we haven't mentioned isn't the player, it's coaching. And it is the addition of John Harbaugh, the former Ravens head coach, as your new head coach for the team. Tom, I mean, he was the most sought-after head coach, I think, by some distance this off-season. For you, I mean, your thoughts on the hire, because you must be surely very excited after what's been many years of some poor head coaching.
We've been used to some poor head coaching, some rookie head coaching, some personality clashes in that locker room, maybe akin to them being rookie head coaches. We've got a coach who knows how to win. It went a bit stagnant for him last year in Baltimore, but before that, he won 10-plus games in the previous 3 seasons, and he's had a 2-time MVP quarterback. Knows how to manage big personalities in the locker room. Couldn't be happy. It was the best head coach hire we could have made. As you say, sought after. Hopefully he wins us some bloody games. So it's all set up. They can't get another hire wrong, surely.
Yeah, the law of averages will tell you that if you're getting about 4 or 5 things wrong in a row, at some point you're going to get something right. And I think yeah, you've got to think about him as a coach. And I think, yeah, you could argue a bit like Tomlin the last few years, it got a bit stale, but it's only 2 or 3 years ago that he was number 1 seed in the NFC, in the AFC, and he has like you said, he's guided Lamar Jackson to 2 MVPs now. Not every coach can do that, so he's been a big part of Lamar Jackson's development to being one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Great leader, of course, Super Bowl champion with the Ravens. Yeah, I think this was for me. I think anyone who got him in would be immediately a better team. Now, you had a tough division, so that's going to make it harder to maybe do what other teams have done when they've got in big names and big head coaches. But I think certainly, you're now not going to be you think about the strength of the Eagles and the Cowboys and the Commanders. You think if the team last year came into this year, you think that's a guaranteed 4th place. But now, the addition of John Harbaugh and a lot of Ravens players he's brought in, I think Isaiah Likely's a brilliant pickup at tight end. You think now, I think you guys could shock everyone and could potentially win the NFC. I don't think you will, but I think you have the coaching and now playing staff there to potentially at least cause some disruption and ruffle some feathers in that division.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I'm when I was doing a little bit of prep for this, I was having a little look Sean Payton's numbers since he's been in Denver. So it's quite a similar situation. Super Bowl winning head coach going to a franchise that maybe plateaued over the last sort of 10 years or so. And in the 3 years he's been there, sort of 8 and 9, and then winning 10 games, and now winning 14 in the Super Bowl appearance. Again, raw young quarterback. I think the situation is very similar. Tough division again, good head coaches within the division. I'm not saying it's going to be exactly the same, but we're saying we've seen this sort of thing happen before. It's not necessarily going to be straight away 12 wins, win the division. It doesn't necessarily work that way. But if you win 8 games, 10 games, and build that way, at least they're building towards something. You can't the rebuilds before. You've sort of well, what are we starting with? We don't really feel like we're starting anywhere. And now there's a blueprint. There's a coach who can make it happen. And there's a young talent there who can carry it out. So I think it's all very positive.
Well, we'll go from positive to negative, or maybe cautious is the word we'll use rather than negative. But one of the pluses of last year in what was a difficult year result-wise for the Giants was Skattebo and Dart as well. But Skattebo was someone who came in sort of out of nowhere. He wasn't really talked about that much, apart from maybe the college veterans or college experts who watch it every single week. No one really talked about Cam Skattebo, and great rookie year, but he had time out last season with injury, and I'm sure you have, and many fans listen to this would have seen his backflip recently that got caught on camera on social media. Do you worry about his health? Because I'm looking at him, and I've said it before on the show. I look at Dart, how he maybe treats his body on the field sometimes, and the way he plays, and Skattebo, the way he goes about his business. Do you worry about him doing things like this, doing backflips when you're out with injury already? Do you worry about kind of his health moving forward? Because there's been a lot of injuries to these two players in particular, Dart and Skattebo. Skattebo's doing this off the field now. Does that worry you about maybe their futures and whether they'll even be in the league in a few years?
Skattebo, no, because I think the nature of his game being that sort of battering ram running back, those kind of players are never durable anyway. I think you need to be a little bit smart about what you do off the field. Backflipping on a stage in front of all the cameras probably isn't the best thing to do, but it's also the nature of a second-year player, a sort of an immature player who's not quite ripened yet, if you like. He reminds me of Gronk in a lot of ways in that sort of showbiz persona, I guess somewhat immaturity there, but as long as he backs it on the field, like as I say, the nature in which the way he plays, he's going to get hurt. He's going to be out with injury. That's not a sustainable way of playing. As long as they manage him, I don't see it being an issue. Dart, on the other hand, I don't want to see my quarterback diving headfirst into tackles. I want to see him being a little bit smarter. It's a lot of the pundits and a lot of the fans said last year. You can't be doing that. You can't be, especially as a rookie player. You need to learn to protect yourself because you know you're the one who's going to win that game for the team. You have to be on the field. You can't put yourself in a situation when you're in a concussion tent 2 games out of 3. You can't sort of let your team down in that way. I mean, we've got players like Winston as a backup quarterback. I think he's going to carry us to a win? No. So I think as long as Dart's on the field, the Giants have a chance. But yeah, Skattebo not so much, but Dart needs to learn how to be smarter, and I think again the coaching will help.
Yeah, you kind of have to think that someone like Harbaugh, just with the experience he has in the league, and and he's someone who's seen a lot and he's dealt with a lot of players in this time. There's a reason why he was there for 14, 15 years he was there in the team. I think, we've seen Doug Pearson win a Super Bowl and not remain in the team. So I think the fact that you can stay with a team for that long, and that's why I really like to commend Mike Tomlin at times, because of him keeping his job for so long as well. I think that there's a reason for that, and I think he's a great leader. And I see him on clips, whether it was recently talking to the team or whether it's previous years on Hard Knocks, seeing him and talk to the players. You just know he instantly demands respect. I mean, I was crying out for him to be a Dolphins head coach because I think we fired McDaniel a day or two after he left the Ravens or something like that. And I think we definitely had that intention of trying to go and get Harbaugh. I think a lot of teams did, to be honest. Kind of have Harbaugh as their number one target, I'd imagine. So yeah, no, I think you'd like to think that he'll be able to learn. Dart will be able to learn from him, and maybe even Dart himself would have learned from that first year. Okay, that's maybe not how to act when you're playing on the field. So yeah, it could go one of two ways. I think there's definitely a world where they could both have problems injury-wise, but also there's a world where they both use that rookie year as a learning curve and basically don't do it again, essentially. But maybe Skattebo hasn't quite learned that just yet, based on his experiences in that backflip. We'll move on, though, to our final segment of the show, which is Win, Lose or Tie. So for those of you that aren't familiar with this segment of the show, each fan that comes on predicts their team's overall record by going through each game and answering with a simple answer of win, loss or tie. Now, Tom, you were on a year ago. You came on for the Giants season preview last year. In real life, the Giants went 4-13 last season. Do you by chance remember what your prediction was 12 months ago?
Oh, it's definitely more than that. I probably would have said 6 or 7, wouldn't I?
You did. You went for 7-10. So only 3 wins behind.
Great. I haven't got any of them right so far, have I?
Yeah, I don't think you've ever had it, because not many have had it bang on in all the years doing it, but I don't recall ever you having that. But I suppose not many people have done, so you're not the only one.
No, we're close, though.
Well, to put your mind at ease, our Seahawks fan last year was Javan, and he predicted them to go 8-9. So that maybe that that definitely was an understatement, and under a precautious look at the season, I think I would say. But week 1 this year starts off, as it always does, against the Dallas Cowboys at home.
Yeah, we'll win that one. Confident. First game of Harbaugh. Start on a high. Dallas aren't looking great, to be honest with you. So I'm happy to go for a win.
So week 2, your first road game of the season and the home of Super Bowl 61. You are taking on the LA Rams.
Yeah, that's a loss. I see Rams as heavy favourites for the year, to be honest with you. So I'm happy to concede that one.
Yeah, fair enough. I think there's not many teams that are going to be they're going to be winning games against the Rams. I think maybe only NFC West teams will be able to beat teams in the Rams this year. Week 3, you're back at home, and this time you are taking on the Tennessee Titans.
I'm going to say another win up against sort of Dable on that staff. Lots of former players as well. So I think the boys will be up for it. Going to go for a win.
Yeah, because not only have you got, obviously, your former head coach, Brian Dable, going to his former stadium, but also you've got, oh my God, who am I thinking of a second ago? Robert Saleh, former Jets head coach, returning to his old stadium. So, a bit of a reunion there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be happy to send him home with a loss.
It's funny because we're playing the Chargers this season, and they have got on their staff both Mike McDaniel and Adam Gase. So that's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, I don't think many Dolphins fans have a great memory of Adam Gase apart from that first year. So I'm just shocked he's got a job, to be honest, after how the last few years have gone, both on and off the field. I'm surprised he's got a job, if I'm honest, but that'll be good to see us beat him. I'm not going to lie, I will say. Well, week 4 might be your easiest game on paper of the season. You're hosting the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, I've got to go for a win there. Got to be.
I mean, they've got, we talked about it in the last show in the New Orleans Saints. Literally, like, their schedule is so unforgiving. The division alone, oh my God, it's tough. It's really tough. I think they got the NFC East as well. So they got the NFC East and the NFC West. Boy, that's tough. That is really tough. Week 5, though, you are taking on the Washington Commanders at Northwest Stadium.
I think it's a loss. I think they'll still be healthy, and I think they're probably player for player a better team. So I'd see that being a loss.
Well, you'll know from your experience at the stadium, the fans will be glad it's at 1 p.m. if they're getting public transport.
Yes, exactly. Place to get out of that.
Yeah, I mean, I was very lucky that I made some friends who are Commanders fans, and I went to the game with them. So I got to avoid the public transport. I managed to get in a car. So door to door from my Airbnb to the stadium and back. So I never had to brave that public transport. I think the worst I've experienced is probably the Eagles. That was a dreadful experience getting home from that game by a train. Week 6, though, you're sticking with MetLife Stadium. You're back at MetLife Stadium, and you're taking on the Saints, the team we just talked about in our last episode.
Yeah, I don't trust it. I think that's a banana skin. I think that's a loss. One of those games I think can go either way in terms of the teams on offer. I think probably slide after the loss the week before.
Fair. Well, week 7, you are playing on the road to the Houston Texans.
Again, I like the Texans. I like the coach, like the quarterback. I think the Texans take it, especially at home.
Yeah, I mean, that defense is frightening. I think we can look at the kind of the frailties of CJ Stroud and his limitations, and that will cost him, I think, later on in the season. But I think when you got people like Will Anderson, who I think, if me, is a defensive player of the year contender this year, I think with D'Amico Ryans and his coaching and Will Anderson and everyone else on that defense, it's a frightening unit, and I think it was probably the best defense last year in the NFL, and I think that's going to win them a lot of games alone, is just through that defense. So it's going to be tough for any offense playing against them this season, I will say. Week 8 is a bye week, so week 9 you are on the road to one of your fiercest rivals in the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, Alfred, that's 4 straight. That's 4 straight losses there. Very difficult place to go, especially sort of middle of the season, starting and getting to their groove. I think, that's going to be a tough one to come out with anything there.
Well, week 10 is a game against the Washington Commanders at MetLife.
I'm going for a win this time at home, and with any luck, half of them will be injured by that stage. So it'll be time to get one back on him.
Yeah, I mean, this division is so tough. I mean, I could genuinely see whether it's you or the Commanders or the Cowboys or even the Eagles finishing bottom of this division and having more wins than the NFC South division winner. I can genuinely see a world where the 4th place team has 9 wins in this division. I think all 4 teams are looking, I think, could be quite. I think the Commanders are probably my tip to be 4th right now, but then the Diggs signing might make things a bit different there. But I think, all 4 teams, I think, are going to be really good this year. So I think I can genuinely see whoever, whether it's you or the Commanders, having 9 wins and having more wins than the division winners in that NFC South. So, tough division, and I think it's going to be, some great games this year. I think there's going to be some great games between NFC East teams this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they'll be tighter than in years past. Again, if you Giants lose games, say, at Philadelphia, it'll be closer than it has been before. But I think that Eagles team is still the best in the division for me. But I think it's very close between the rest of them.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. Week 11, you are taking on London's team in the Jacksonville Jaguars at home.
Again, I like the Jags. I like the Jags a lot, and I think the Jags take it. They've got a lot of nice pieces. I really like how Lawrence is starting to develop, starting to show a little bit more. And I think they were very good last year as well. So I see them carrying that into this year.
Well, week 12, you are on the road to your former quarterback in Danny Dimes and the Colts.
That's all right. He won't be healthy. We're winning that one.
Fair. It's so hard to know whether he's going to come back and even be half the player that we saw last year. Interesting season for the Colts. I don't know. I'm trying to think about all my upcoming predictions for our prediction show and division rankings and different awards and all that, and surprise team, flop team, all this stuff. I'm finding the Colts the hardest team to predict. I really don't know what Colts we're going to get. I'm struggling to think, are we going to get the Colts we saw before Germany? Are we going to get the Colts we saw after Germany? Are we going to get the Daniel Jones for most of his career? Are we going to get the Daniel Jones for last season? I don't know. I don't know really what we're going to get from the Colts. They are, for me, the biggest enigma personally for me going into the season. Week 13 now is a much harder proposition. You are hosting the 49ers.
I think that's a lot closer of a game if they are riddled by injuries as they usually are. It's quite late in the season, but say I'll put them down for a loss for now.
So week 14, you're going from the team that hosted the Super Bowl to the team that won it. You are facing a road trip to Lumen Field and the Seattle Seahawks.
It's a hard place to go. That's a loss. Very hard place to go, especially sort of peeking into winter now at this point. Yeah, that's going to be probably the toughest place to go all year.
Yeah, that is going to be 4:25 p.m. Seattle time. So that's going to be. Is that Sunday Night Football? No, I'm not. Because I know they're 5 hours. They're 7 hours behind in Seattle.
They're eight on the West Coast.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so 4:25 p.m. That probably unless that is Eastern. I don't know whether this is what I found was local or whether it was just.
It'll be just
I don't know.
4:45 in the morning, so it probably should be Sunday Night Football.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that is the Seattle time they're going for. Yeah, interesting. That's going to be exciting. Week 15 is a game you are hosting the Cleveland Browns.
Yep, get back on the horse of that one. That's a win. They're a much different proposition without Garrett on defense now. So yeah, very happy to put that one down as a win.
Boy, I mean, your schedule, my goodness. I'm looking at these final three games, and it's already been quite a tough schedule leading up to these final three games. God, it's probably the same for all of the NFC East teams, but my goodness, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking maybe my pick of them being the surprise team maybe shouldn't be locked in yet, because I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, how is this team getting the double-digit wins? I just don't. That's a really, really tough schedule. Rough. But yeah, week 16, your final game of the 2026 calendar, you are facing the Lions on the road.
That's a loss. They'll be pushing for that division title. They'll be at home. I can't see us winning that one.
And in your first game of 2027 and your final road game of the season, you're taking a trip to AT&T Stadium and you are facing Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, we're winning it. Going for that number 7 seed. We're winning it.
Love it. I love that confidence. So week 18 is your final game of the season. You are hosting the Philadelphia Eagles. Tom, for the final time this episode, win, lose or tie?
Win. I think they'll have wrapped up what they need to do by then. I see them probably 3 seed. They probably would have locked that in. Can't do much better. And we're at home, so nice finish on the high, regardless of what we've done. So yeah, it's a win.
Well, that means you're predicting an 8-9 season.
Yeah, it's a building block. It's potentially a couple of them can go either way, but that's a hell of a better season than it was last year. And again, weird parallels to that first Sean Payton season in Denver. So if my prediction is right, 3 years' time, we'll have come off a Super Bowl loss. So we're ready.
God, I mean, I'm here for it. I would love to see the Giants make the Super Bowl, mainly because of the film Big. But I don't know quite whether I could back them to beat the Rams in an NFC Championship. But no, I mean, looking at your schedule the following year, you've got the NFC South in your schedule next year. So you talk about building block, you talk about first year of Harbaugh, getting to know his guys and getting a kind of a culture in the franchise, which is what he did in Baltimore. You think about next year, you get to face the Dolphins, you get to face the Jets, you get to face the whole of that NFC South. Yeah, you've got, your division, which is tough, but yeah, the fact you get to play the Falcons, the Panthers, the Bucks, and then you've got a road game at the NFC North and then a road game with the AFC West, that could be tough unless it's maybe the Raiders and the Vikings or something. But, yeah, I think anyone who gets the NFC South in their schedule should be counting their lucky stars.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the position we're in, especially with the division that we've got, is competitive within the division. Gives you a hell of a chance outside of it. So these are almost the best teams to test yourself up against. Again, if you can go toe-to-toe Dallas, Philadelphia, then when you go outside to play sort of the Jets, the Colts, you already stood in pretty good stead. So we'll see how it goes.
And one thing we didn't mention, you told me off camera that you are going to be going to Bears Bucks on Sunday Night Football in Chicago.
Yeah.
So this is going to be the same day that you face at 1 p.m. Eagles on the road. Are you going to try and find a way to watch that game before you then go into the stadium? Because obviously you have that 4-hour gap then between that game ending, the second slate starting, and then the game starting. So I'm guessing you'll have time to maybe watch that game, or at least the first half.
Yeah, we'll watch a little bit of that. Of course, I mean, I'll be an honorary Bears fan that day, but I'll always make time to watch the Giants. Have it on in the tailgate or something, hide it around the corner so the Bears fans don't see it. But we'll find a way. If we're losing heavily, then we'll get switched off and then get on the beer.
Well, there we are. That is the end of the show. So, Tom, first of all, to all the listeners on audio or YouTube, apologies for our technical issues in this episode. But no, we will. That is sadly part of the game when it comes to podcasts. Not every StreamYard recording can go quite to plan. So yeah, thank you for staying with us and being patient, and also being patient for all these season previews so far. We've got 8 left we've got now, so we are down in the final stretch. But Tom, once again, I want to say a huge thank you for coming on today.
Pleasure. Always good fun. Hopefully my predictions are right this time.
Well, you're hoping not. You're hoping for more wins than 8. I think if you're hoping that in a way you're wrong and you get maybe 10 or 11 wins.
True. That's true.
Yeah.
We'll
But
see.
I will say you get 4 wins the year before that. You double your tally in a year. That is progress. I know it's not making the playoffs. Probably it's not going to be winning Super Bowls. But you go as a first year as a new head coach. After what it's been the last few years, if you can go in with double your wins from the year before, I think that probably would be almost like winning a Super Bowl for the fans after what's been a really tough decade after winning the Super Bowl all those years ago.
Yeah, baby steps. Got building in the right direction every year, and then see what happens.
Well, saying goes, isn't it? Rome wasn't built in a day. So yeah. But yeah, this has been the Across the Pod NFL podcast, our team season preview 24 out of 32 on the New York Giants. I have been, as ever, your host today in Andy Davis, and our guest in Giants fan Tom Morton. And we'll see you guys for our next team season preview. See you then. Take care.